If you're new to the channel, you may be unaware that I keep a bunch of animals. I breed the boa constrictors, but I keep spiders, mainly tarantulas. I have a pet Burmese python named Dagon, a pet Tegu named Chubbs, axolotl, some fish, just an array of creatures. So recently I've been getting asked, hey, a lot of your videos have been about the boas or boa breeding or different reptile trips slash adventures. When are you going to do another tarantula video? Well, I got news for you. Today's not the day. Today's all about centipedes. My name's Jay. This is Jay's Cryptic Creatures. Come on, let's learn something together. Centipedes are odd, maybe creepy, definitely interesting creatures. Even for those folks that keep arachnids like tarantulas, sometimes people look at a centipede and say, oh no, not me, that creeps me out. I can't say I was exactly one of those people, but I can understand what they were talking about. And I've always been fascinated with centipedes. So a couple years ago, I was at the local reptile expo, and my buddy Caleb from Wicked Webs had a bunch of centipedes, and I was always been kind of on the fence. So I went ahead and took the plunge. I picked up a Scolopendra species Vietnam black tip from him as a very small baby hatchling. Frankly, I'm not sure what you call baby centipedes. Um, but that was a start. So I figured, we'll get a small one and we'll kind of grow together. Worked with him. He mentioned about keeping them like a moisture dependent tarantula. So I felt confident there. And we brought him or her home. Frankly, I have no idea what the sex is, but I will refer to the centipede as him throughout this video. Like I said, I'm by no means an expert. This is my first centipede. Spoiler alert, won't be my last. But I wanted to share with you because I kept him for over 2 years now, and things have been going pretty well. He's growing, looks great, and it's time for an enclosure upgrade. So let's flip the camera around and let's take a look at the setup and get this guy moved over. So for the enclosure setup and care, I find it very similar to that of the Theraphosa genus in tarantulas. So this is a more moisture dependent creature. So you want a good deep substrate. Some people experience digging or burying. I have not, but the deep substrate helps maintain the moisture levels. You also want something with significantly higher walls. Centipedes can't climb glass or plastic like a tarantula can. However, they can prop themselves up, and they can stand up probably more tall than you would suspect. Additionally, these guys are a bit of escape artists, so they can get out pretty easily. So you have to be careful of how your setup is made, and kind of double check it frequently for the first little bit. Again, you want that deep substrate for moisture retention, but you also want a lot of ventilation. You don't want to make a swamp. You just want to keep that moisture level up. And then lots of hiding places. So you see here an exorbitant amount of leaf litter. We have actually several hides in there. And then his favorite piece of cork bark is going to come over with him as well. Centipedes, and by the whole, are more sensitive to environmental conditions, and they stress out quite easily. So please make sure that your setup is on point, and you should be okay. All right, let me switch over the cameras and get this guy set up, ready to go. So here's this guy's old enclosure. And like I said, we're going to upgrade to give this guy some room to run around. If you've seen my Instagram reels, this guy has this really tiny little piece of cork bark, like a security blanket. Like constantly, this is his hide. So we have one over here, but this is the one that's preferred, and it's been like that since he was a really small baby.
Chances are when I rehouse this, he's just going to hold on to it, and I'm going to move it from point A to point B. It's pretty cute, but let's see what we got. Oh, so he actually isn't holding on to it. So there's my little guy right there. However, that piece of cork bark is going to come over with me into this new enclosure because I feel like he would very much appreciate that. So with him not holding on, what I'm going to do is actually switch camera positions and get two hands ready to make this move. But there he is right there. All right, now I'm all set up. I got a catch cup in hand. Like I said, these guys are pretty quick, and hopefully I can navigate this. Oh, there you go. There's a good picture of him all stretched out. So he's definitely getting up there. I would say, I don't know, 5 inches or so, something to that tune. And now he's probably really curious. So let's see if we can coax him over here. And there he goes. And there we go. So now this guy's in his new home. He's probably going to spend quite a bit of time exploring, which is super cool. Give me 1 second and I will change out the camera position and we'll talk about temperament and venom and things of that nature. You're most susceptible if you're an elderly person or a younger child. But regardless, if you were to die or not, the bite is reportedly extremely painful. Not to mention that, but you will have swelling, terrible discomfort for several days, and burning is part of the report as well. Despite that rehousing, centipedes are incredibly quick and tend to be a bit skittish. But like we talk about with tarantulas, I would not say they're aggressive. They're just a defensive animal, right? So I treat these like I do with my tarantulas, where I do a hands-off approach to them. Look but don't touch. But there's plenty of people that handle the centipedes. I leave that to your discretion. If you're going to do it, please handle with care and caution. Respect these animals. They're just not a plaything. Now, I don't believe this guy is fully grown yet. He should probably get around 7 inches or so. I feed him typically weekly a couple crickets or soup worm or even some bits of raw chicken. I tend to lean more towards the live insects because these guys are incredible hunters. Watching them chase down and run around the enclosure is really, really awesome. And I also feed them more frequently than I do the tarantulas, as I was saying, because of that level of activity. So what we're going to do is leave this guy get settled in, stop agitating him, let him get comfortable, and we'll switch the camera and close out the video.
All right, so we got the guy moved over without too much of fuss or muss. I'll keep an eye on him over the next several days. Maybe I can get a feeding clip. We'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, centipedes are not for everyone. In essence, they're a niche pet inside of the arachnid / invert pet keeping, which is in and of itself a niche pet keeping group. So if you've been interested or somewhat reluctant, maybe nervous about grabbing a centipede, I'd say, go ahead and take the plunge. It's been a great experience. Like anything, you do your research, treat the animal with care. Um, you should be all right. As for the medically significant venom, again, you create the enclosure, the environment, and you take a hands-off handling approach. There shouldn't be much interaction, and I think the risk of envenomation or getting bit is really, really low. I've had nothing but a great experience with this guy thus far. Hunting has been awesome. It's just different than some of the other inverts that are out there, and I would highly recommend picking one up and just doing one at first and growing with it. With all this being said, please like, subscribe, and we can continue learning about centipedes, tarantulas, boa constrictor breeding together. Until next time.